Hello everybody, this is Saskin from the Honor UK Club community, and I'm going to show you a little head-to-head against the Honor MagicBook 14. Some of this will be slightly unfair to my old laptop, but there you go. Straight off the bat you can see the Honor MagicBook is looking pretty sweet in the space grey, this one, and let's have a look at what it's going to be competing against. A big, lumbering, old Lenovo IdeaPad Z500. So as you can see already, it is pretty cumbersome beside the MagicBook. But it was, from a different age, really, where having things like a DVD drive were considered essential. But yeah, not these days. I think these days cloud services are really the go. But already you can see the thinness here is significant, and the Lenovo is really pretty much unwieldy, really, at this point. But in a later segment, I'm going to go further into the actual specs of the Lenovo. But I would like to note that I did actually upgrade the Lenovo to begin with. It came with an i5, but I did upgrade it to an i7 3520M Ivy Bridge, and it's also running 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM, so that's up from 8, and it's running a GeForce 635M chip with 2 gigs dedicated, so that would be probably the main differences as opposed to the MagicBook's Ryzen 5 3500U and the 8 gigs of RAM, which are unfortunately soldered, so they can't be upgraded, but it is DDR4. But as you can already see, the Lenovo has one major disadvantage already, because you can see me and my tripod here, is the super glossy screen, which the MagicBook does not have, as it's matte. But as you can see, it's got a fairly large keyboard layout with a numpad and trackpad, which has seen some battering, I guess. But and I guess to note, the screen size on this is 15.6 inches, so it is larger in pure inches, but it is only 1366 by 768 resolution. So MagicBook obviously would beat that at 1920 by 1080 native, and also 14-inch screen size. So while it might be slightly smaller, it is significantly better in the HD department, full HD. And you can see there already the matte screen is slightly combating the clear view of the tripod you had there. And just to note, I am actually recording this on my Honor 20 Pro. So, but I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause for a second and pull out a weighing scale, because I think that's probably the immediate advantage of the MagicBook. So we'll be back in a second with the scale. And here we are again with the scale, and you might be wondering why I've left the bowl on top, but there is method in my madness, so you'll see in a second. So let's start with the older competitor. And as you can see, it is 2.3 kilos, nearly 2.35 kilos, so fairly hefty. And let's put in the rather unwieldy brick, power brick and lead combo into the bowl, along with the Lenovo, I should say. And is it going to sit? No, because it's so unwieldy. So let's unplug this. This is just to give you the full weight on the go. And that's 2.82 kilos, so fairly hefty to drag around in your bag. You will definitely feel that. So 2.8 kilos with both the power brick and the laptop. Let's have a look at the MagicBook itself. As you can see, that is a much lighter 1.36 kilos, nearly 1.37 nearly. So quite light. It's lighter than the actual spec, which is 1.38. There you go. And now I'm going to get the power brick for the MagicBook and test that. To note, the power brick is one of those fast charging power bricks, so it will actually supercharge your other Honor devices or Huawei devices that have USB-C, so that is pretty handy. Let me just grab the power brick. And as you can probably imagine, I misplaced the power brick of the MagicBook, but I finally found it again. So I'm going to be putting in the USB to USB-C USB-C cable and also the power brick, just to see what that is. I'll let that 0 again. There we go. So it comes out at a simple 1.57 with both the power brick and the MagicBook, which significantly beats the poor old Lenovo's rather weighty, nearly 3 kilos. So from a simple mobility point of view, the MagicBook is obviously very much a winner in that case. So as you can see, it really is quite unfair to compare the neat little MagicBook's fast charging brick here with this, you know, straight to the wall or outlet connection against the rather unwieldy, to say the least, power brick of the Lenovo, along with its lead, power lead. But, you know, as power bricks go, the Lenovo isn't actually the worst out there. It's one of the slightly thinner models, but while it's thin, it ends up having the double thick cables, which ends up taking quite a lot of room in your bag. So I really would give the hands down win in terms of design and function, in terms of powering your device, especially considering you can double this up and supercharge, not just charge, supercharge your Honor phones. So I'm going to take a quick look at the connectivity of both devices, and as you can see here, the MagicBook 14 has the USB-C for charging, but also multifunctions in terms of data for phones or other USB-C items like hard drives, which would be very fast. And then you've got a USB 3.1 here and HDMI, full HDMI, which is quite handy. And then on the other side of the MagicBook, you have another USB, standard USB connection here, and a 3.5mm combo headphone and mic jack. So that's, you know, pretty much all you're going to need to connect to most things. And then the much older Lenovo from 2012 has a lot more, as it was primarily for business, I guess, at the time. So you've got your power connection there, and then an old VGA connection, which could be handy. And while you might initially think, oh great, it has a Ethernet connection here, or J45, unfortunately this is only 100 MIPS, not a gigabit connection, so its use is very limited, unfortunately. Does have a full-size HDMI as well, and a USB 3, as you can see by the blue, and also an older, I'm using that as a dust plug, but it's a for micro SD, or, you know, with a SD card reader with a adapter, I should say. And then on the other side, You have the combo 3.5/mic jack as well, and then two standard USB 2.0 speed connections, and along with a DVD drive. I should probably note one of the other upgrades I made on this Lenovo is I changed this into a caddy, so it is actually housing a 1 terabyte hard drive, an old mechanical spin drive, but it does add some extra space. And here you can see a quick look at the Lenovo Z500's keyboard. As you can see, it's got a fairly decent backlit keyboard for its day. So on that point, I guess I'd have to give Lenovo some points, considering that was 2012 I got this device. So not too bad. It has various brightnesses, which aren't too bad. Hard to see on the video. But not too bad. But the MagicBook 14 obviously has the same style of backlit keyboard. And as you can see, fairly bright. But I think probably the most obvious difference between the two devices is the Microsoft certified Windows Hello fingerprint scanner here. So instead of having to type in a password here, which wouldn't be great for security on the video, all I have to do is, and it's pretty much as quick as a phone really in terms of unlock, and I haven't had an issue. Even with greasy fingerprints, it still signs me in nice and quick. So that is definitely a major plus, I think, on the MagicBook side. You know, you can just turn it on and leave your thumb resting, or your finger, whichever, resting against it, and as soon as Windows pops up, you'll be straight into Windows without even having to think about it. I guess during the first couple of days, I'd find myself wondering why it hadn't logged in, because I had just left my, finger off, not out of habit, but now I've got into the habit of actually leaving the thumb just slightly pressed against it. So loading into Windows really is a breeze, which is nice. Here I'm going to show you a quick test of the 3D Mark Skydiver and Benchmark, which I think should give a fairly decent overview of just how much better the much newer Ryzen processor is in terms of graphics and GPU, or rather CPU capabilities, as the Lenovo really kind of struggles with these. And I'm actually just looking at the video here, and you can even see the banding, etc. on the Lenovo with its glossy screen is not exactly conducive to for a clear video, but there you go. I'm not going to put you through the whole benchmark, but what I'm going to do is just show you a little bit of them both running in terms of load speed as well, which should give you a good idea of gaming capabilities as well to some extent. And they're both plugged in, so they're both set to their max capabilities in terms of power draw. And I'm just going to, as I said, show you them running, and I'm going to start off the Lenovo first, as I know it takes quite a bit to load, and then I'm going to cut to the results after they're done as well, because otherwise you'd be sitting here watching a benchmark that you could have done yourselves potentially, I guess. So I'm just going to hit run on those, and this will just give you a quick look side by side in terms of the Lenovo versus the MagicBook in terms of load. It's not doing too bad there loading up its tests, but you'll see soon enough fairly quickly in terms of just the raw FPS. So right now the Lenovo is only getting about 10 to 11 FPS, which is unplayable in any kind of game really. And whereas the MagicBook is getting a respectable 39, almost hitting 40 there in some cases. but you can already see just from both of those side by side the smoothness or lack of it. In the case of the Lenovo, you know, the MagicBook is well able to play DirectX 11 and indeed DirectX 12 titles. So I'm going to pause here and then I'll cut to the final scores on both, and I don't think you'll be surprised, but I will actually let the graphics test 2 load up and actually maybe I will let it run and then I'll let it run the combine just so you can see just the raw FPS difference. You can already see the Lenovo on the left is struggling a little bit there at again 10 FPS, whereas the MagicBook is getting 33, 34, up to 35. So again, you're not going to be playing, you know, The Witcher 3 on Ultra here on either system, but the MagicBook would actually be able to load it up, I think, initially. You'd have to draw back your settings to some kind of title like that to, you know, probably medium, maybe high on textures, but actually the physics test would be an interesting one as well, actually. Just to see the Lenovo here doesn't do too bad actually at 79 to 80 FPS, but the even the MagicBook here is still 99 to 110, so that's significantly faster. And here I am going to pause and then wait for the results. And here we are on the results screen, and I think it's safe to say that the MagicBook wins on all scores. You know, graphics is actually over double at 7,500 odd, and on the Lenovo it is only 2,200 for the graphics score. The physics score is a little bit better at 4,000 on the Lenovo, but again the MagicBook takes the lead with 6,900 odd there, and then the final combined score is 6,836 for the MagicBook, and that's the combined test, so 28.13 FPS. And on the Lenovo it is only 2,482 combined score with the FPS at 10.22, which would be very much unplayable. And I guess one thing you can see here from the screens is the difference the resolution makes. You know, the Lenovo struggles to show much of the bottom areas with the monitoring with only 1366 by 768 resolution versus the native 920 by 1080 on the MagicBook. So it's actually quite hard to show you in detail without moving the mouse significantly here, but it is pretty clear, I think, especially even the temperatures. The MagicBook is quite good in terms of both. This GPU is roughly 55, 56 degrees for most of it, and then the CPU is 60, so really, you know, quite close there and not too hot at all, whereas the older i7 significantly hotter, you know, 78, 75 centigrade for the GPU. You know, you could nearly, you know, boil an egg on it or something, you know, fry an egg, and 65 on the CPU. It's, you know, runs significantly hotter, and that's, you know, due to the older architecture, obviously. And I'm going to display all of these results in a much clearer way on the thread on the UK Community Honor Club. So you'll be able to fully see all of these details, and I think it'll be safe to say that the MagicBook wins hands down on all of these, really, which is surprising because I guess the one kind of minus I would give the MagicBook really is the RAM, in that while it's 8 gigs DDR4, which is great, it is soldered onto the motherboard, so you can't really change it, or certainly can't do it easily. So it would have been nice to see a 16 gig model, because I'm running 16 gigs here on the Lenovo, upgraded it myself, but I guess that's where the MagicBook Pro, which is coming to the UK soon, that actually has 16 gigs, again, you know, for regular day use, certainly browsing and even some light gaming, you're not going to have a problem with 8 gigs. It's really just, I tend to open multiple programs and have lots of tasks, so you might run into, you know, memory bottlenecks. But again, will every user run into that? Probably not. So I'll show you some of the synthetic benchmark scores as well from Ada. So let me bring those up. I'm actually going to display those results in easier to read format. So I will stop the video here and then add it on, because the dark mode I have installed on the Lenovo makes it very difficult to actually see both screens at once. So I will be back with more details after this. In this segment, I'd like to show you what is my favorite feature of the MagicBook so far, and that is Magic Link 2.0, where you can connect any of your Honor phones straight to the MagicBook, and it's great for typing, obviously, and stuff like that, but it is also great for games. And as you can see here, I have it connected, and it's displaying exactly what's on the screen. You can use a controller, etc. as well for games, so that's great. But I'm just going to show you here a quick go of Asphalt Legends 9, and hopefully you'll get a kind of a flavor of what it's capable of. Obviously there are, you know, a lot more opportunities for use other than games, but this is pretty cool. So I'm just going to try a basic, you know, career solo match, because I'm no ace at any of these driving games, but I thought it would give you a little example of what it's capable of. And hey, the race goal is just to finish the race, so hopefully I'll be able to manage that. I'm almost as bad as this in real life at driving, so there you go. Art imitating reality, I guess. Yeah, finished the race, so that's something. But as you can see, it's pretty good at you know, speed in terms of displaying the graphics, etc. Obviously, you need to have NFC, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi all turned on the phone in order to connect for Magic Link. And hopefully I'm going to show you another game now in a second, and you'll just get a flavor of, you know, the fidelity of the screen, etc. I'm sure this music is familiar to everyone, and if not, well, I don't know, read a book or watch the show. But this is Game of Thrones Beyond the Wall, and as you can see, it looks pretty good on the bigger screen, and as you can see here, just how it connected via the Magic Link again. And of course it's going to plague me with items to buy, etc. I'm just going to go Beyond the Wall and probably flub whatever mission. Oh yes, one of these. This will go well. can see, I conveniently can't remember half the keys, so that's always helpful. The bigger screen is quite good for getting the details, so obviously you probably want to have any of your texture settings to max so you can actually benefit from the bigger screen. I probably should have killed the one that was at full health, but there you go. He's still not dead. Right. Okay, not close enough. No. Oh well. Easy come, easy go. There you go, I managed a victory, so I guess that's something. But it is actually pretty cool because you can also get phone calls direct straight into your MagicBook straight from the Magic Link, so that is pretty handy again for the larger screen, etc. And also just handy if you're working and you don't want to kind of rummage around for your device, you can just flick it onto the laptop where you're working, which is pretty cool. But I won't deny the idea of playing some of these with a controller is quite tempting. But I hope that gives you a little bit of a flavor of what Magic Link is capable of, and hopefully we'll see more advancements of these in the future.